Morning, Glue Troopers. If Aurora had ever decided to make a figurine of a caffeine vampire, it would have been me. Welcome. So I was watching a video that I'll link below if I can find it again. Building some of these model cars, it got me looking at some of the movie cars that are kind of a little bit lesser known. I mean, obviously we've got, the Batmobile and, these super famous cars like that, the Ghostbusters car. But as I was looking at them, one thing I kind of noticed was, and I think I might make this a thing on the live stream Saturday, is how the Dodge Charger is a much more prolific vehicle than I'd realized. Now, we all know about a few of the high-profile ones, like the RT that was used in Bullet in the famous chase scene. And by the way, the actor stuntman who was driving that, who is the guy that appears on camera, was with James Dean when he was killed. He was right behind him, first one to the wreckage. And what's his name? Bill Hobson? I forget offhand. Anyway, he does the video I was looking at. The guy does a real good job of talking about the stunt driving in Bullet. And so anyway, also of course you have the four Dodge Chargers that I thought of that came to mind instantly when we were talking about Dodge Chargers in the movies were of course the car from Bullet, which even though due to continuity errors the thing lost about 6 hubcaps in the chase, but it was I still think that's probably the best real chase scene put to video, or put to camera, put to screen. And then of course there's obviously the Dukes of Hazzard. God, how many Chargers did they destroy? And you've got the one from Fast and Furious, and you have for television fans, Michael Weston was driving that black Charger for pretty much the entire series of Burn Notice. But then there are some lesser known films, or not necessarily lesser known films. Well, some of them are, like apparently a Charger had a pretty good representation in the movie Blade, the sort of vampire flick. I'm using my phone so I keep them straight this morning. The movie Cannonball, not Cannonball Run, but the actual 1976 movie Cannonball. And then there was Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, Dirty Mary. I always get that one mixed up. The Kurt Russell had, I think it was Kurt Russell's driving one in Death Proof in 2007. One of my personal favorites with Nick Cage, Drive Angry, where he escapes hell to come save his daughter, and that was that movie was different. Let's see, and I don't think I've ever seen a vampire in Brooklyn, but apparently it had a, let's see, yeah, there was Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, and of course we talked about the one in Bullet, and there were some others, and I was thinking, there are a lot of Hollywood cars that aren't that famous, but I'll bet somebody made kits of them at some point, or they'd be a fairly easy kit bash. Ron Howard's first couple of movies after he came off of Happy Days, he'd done really well on American Graffiti, so he did a couple of car movies. A lot of people don't know this. I remember when they hit the theaters. I think I remember seeing the movie poster for Eat My Dust, which is sort of a comedy, and then there was, that was a Camaro, I think, and then there was Grand Theft Auto, which I'm not entirely sure, but that may have been the actual original Genesis that led up to the game. Maybe in name only, I'm not really sure. Although from what I understand, the movie was a whole lot more lighthearted than the game. Of course, you got Columbo's little car, which I think was a Peugeot. But I started thinking about all these movies that where some sort of car played a reasonably significant role that that wasn't like Batmobile famous, but somebody made a kit of it or something. So I think what I'm going to toddle off and do is look at some of the lesser known Hollywood cars that had kits made out of them, where we make easy kit bashes. And one of the nice things about these cars is a lot of them are just off the shelf cars. and they were very, you know, you could probably find a kit model. Oh, of course, you already know there's Baby from Supernatural metallic car, but that's almost a given these days. Is it my imagination, or do cars not play the significant role that they used to in a lot of TV and movie characters? The last couple of characters I can think of that the car was fairly significant, and you know, which comes through being consistently being used consistently throughout the movie or the show. Of course, you got, like I just said, Baby and Supernatural. You got Magnum PI's Ferrari, and you got TC's Vanagon, and but there aren't that many shows where the car's as big of a character as it should be. Now, in some shows, like police shows like Adam 12, of course, they're driving a police cruiser, and those changed over time. So the car was significant, but it wasn't always the same car, and it wasn't a character like in a lot of these movies. And the same goes for aircraft. I remember when helicopter movies or TV shows were real big. You had Blue Thunder, Riptide, and of course Airwolf. And so those were all the helicopters were part of the movie. Of course, Baba Black Sheep or Black Sheep Squadron, you had the Corsairs, although there wasn't really an individual plane that stood out. And so that brings up kind of an interesting idea where the machines, the vehicles, are characters in their own right. So what are your favorite, the question of the day, what are your favorite, let's say, I guess we could go with machines as in maybe the helicopter from Airwolf, you know, or the Ferrari from Magnum, something like that, where the where the machine is a character. And right now, if I had to choose one, I would probably, personally, for cars, I think I'd go with Baby from Supernatural, the Impala. Aircraft, I confess, I used to watch Airwolf. I was much younger then, so I think I'm going to go. I know it's just a Bell 222. By the way, side note, very sadly, while I was watching some videos about this, I found out that helicopter later crashed, killing the crew. The one that was used in Airwolf. After the show was over, they converted it back to, got rid of the Hollywood accoutrements and just turned it back into a regular Bell 222. And unfortunately, it went to Germany, where it was turned into an air ambulance, and they crashed in bad weather and terrain. If I had to pick off the top of my head, it would be a coin toss on boats. I would say probably PT-73 from McHale's Navy would be my favorite, boat. Although I did enjoy the old sitcom, The Wackiest Ship in the Army, The Wackiest Ship in the Navy. I think one of them was a movie, and the TV show, I think they changed the name. I think it was like The Wackiest Ship in the Navy, and then when it became a TV show, it was The Wackiest Ship in the Army, or maybe I have that backwards. Anyway. So my favorite airplane that was a character in its own right, well, I'm not really sure of an airplane that was as much a character of the show, but when I was a kid, I used to enjoy what was probably one of the silly shows on TV, Ripcord. I always liked that Cessna 182 they were flying around in, but they actually changed that airplane during the show, though. But I can't really think of a single airplane that was, I guess for a movie it would be the Memphis Belle, the B-17, just because that airplane was the focus of the whole movie. So I'm going to go with that for now. And of course, my favorite spacecraft, obviously, the original series Starship Enterprise. Although I do like myself a Klingon battlecruiser. But anyway, by the way, quick side note, I was thinking about this earlier, after building these cars. And you guys, though I don't build that many model cars, so I don't have that much experience to draw on, but is it my imagination, or does it seem like all the model cars I've built, none of them ever detail the inside of the ceiling. And so, it's always where the windshield and back window mount or something. But, that if you want to hyper detail a model, you'd have to cut a fair amount of that clear plastic off. Maybe vacuum yourself another windshield. And so is it me, or do none of the models detail the inside of the ceiling? Well, anyway, guys, that's all I got for right now. Hope you're having a wunderbar day. A wunderbar Tag. And we will see everybody later. Auf Wiedersehen. And model on. Is anybody looking? Oh, thank you for the coffee. I am Coffula. Might I have more, please? So what gives? You were waiting for me to finish the show before you came out here? Are you going to crawl back in with the models again? You know you want to. Oh, Daddy, I want to get in with those model helicopters. They're so cool. Oh no, you closed the door. You undone my evil plan for global domination. Hey, your fans want to, there you go, your fans want to see you. Yes, my lord. They hear and obey. And she's lost interest in us. Diva.